Morning Drive, brought to you by Golf Pride.
There is no way we could celebrate the Masters without bringing on a three-time Masters champion, a member of the World Golf Hall of Fame, and somebody who won 9 major championships, and that is Mr. Gary Player. Gary, as always, it's great to talk to you, to see you. I've got to ask, what have you been doing during this quarantine?
I'm staying with my daughter in Philadelphia because we came here from South Africa to meet our grandson who just done 2 years on a missionary work for his church, the Mormon church, in Spain. And it was such a wonderful time to come back and see him having done so much good hard work. And now we're staying here with this large family, which has been fantastic because we having conversations of all different subjects, and it's been a wonderful time to be with them. I must say it's a different sort of life. I'm always so busy and on the go, and it's quite enjoyable to be just taking time to reflect on so many important things. I'm lucky my daughter and son-in-law do have a gymnasium in their house, and the next door neighbor has one of these simulators, so I'm able to go and hit some balls. And then I'm doing a lot of other paperwork and phone calls and letters, and I'm doing quite a lot of writing, so I'm kept very busy.
Well, nobody has a better understanding of the world from an athletic point of view than you have. Nobody has traveled the world more than you have. And the idea that you've been grounded for the first time really in your adult life in terms of the amount of travel, it is an adjustment for you, for everybody else. The Masters. The Masters has been a part of your life for more than 60 years. What's it like not to be there this week, this year?
Very, very sad indeed. But I do admire Augusta for postponing the event and not cancelling it. I suppose there are other reasons why other sports activities had to be cancelled. But the Masters were taking place now in November. Will be quite exciting. I think it'll be a little bit colder. The course might play longer. So we'd be playing off Bermuda, unless I'm mistaken. You know, Augusta makes so many significant changes from year to year that we never know what's going to happen, but I would imagine we'll be on Bermuda grass. As you know, golf does so much for charity. It brings people together from around the world. You look at what golf has done for this country to improve the economy. People from all over the world traveling all year round to play the great golf courses. The manufacturing of machinery, you take charities that have benefited golf, and then there's a golf tournament every week of the year, Gary, somewhere other than holidays, and you have your wonderful young American men playing in these tournaments, acting as a wonderful ambassador for this great country of America. So it's a very bad time, not only for the disease and the problems that people are experiencing, which is a tragedy, but also it's very sad for golf, because golf creates so many jobs. And I was a poor boy growing up, very poor. I know what it's like not to have a job and not to have money. So my heart goes out to the people.
You mentioned November. I just wanted you to expand upon that. This golf course, and you know that facility exceptionally well. They have great resources. It's kind of like Oz. You mentioned it may play longer. Temperatures are going to be cooler. The overseeding of the ryegrass, who knows how well it will take by the middle of November. Do you think that when you look at that golf course, it's going to be that much different in terms of the way that it plays?
I don't think that much different, but I think that's exciting if it is different. I've always enjoyed and wanted to try and get the best golf record around the world because I wanted the challenge of arriving in countries where I couldn't read the editorial, the food was different, the culture was different, a great challenge against the locals. And I think to go to Augusta, that time of the year, they should all be looking forward to it, which I'm sure they are, with the challenges, and it's going to be this great event. People will come from all over the world, and charities will be benefited. No, it's just, to me, very exciting. And I can't wait. I'm going to come all the way from South Africa just for that tournament that week.
Well, and we're going to talk about that week in terms of, how different it might feel for a past champion. And let's just go right there because, the Champions Dinner is a special night no matter what the circumstances might be. if we are in a position to have things be as normal as they might be come that time. Have you spent a moment thinking about, you always have a tremendous amount of gratitude in your mind and in your heart for you men to come together on that night 2 weeks before Thanksgiving to have a Champions Dinner at Augusta National. What will that night be like, do you think?
The evening at Augusta is always something very, very special, Gary, as is the Open Championship at St. Andrews when they have it with all the pomp and ceremony, which I quite enjoy. But Augusta is something very special to be gathered in a room with all these magnificent champions and the variety of subjects that are covered. And you listen to, I always remember the chairman saying, enjoy this practice facility that we have here, because it cost $100 million. And I think how the practice tees have varied from when we first played there, the short practice tee on the left as you drive in Magnolia Drive, and then you go to the one on the right, and then John Daly hit a ball right over that 60-yard fence. So they had to change. And what they've done, and the changes they make to Augusta, there's nothing quite like it. I think the greatest challenge of golf is the Open Championship on links golf courses. But Augusta is the best run tournament. And at a time of the year when everybody's getting out of bad weather to come down there and see these beautiful flowers and the beauty that exists, and you sit and you ponder for a while and you think, well, Bobby Jones, that wonderful gentleman, the best dressed man, the most eloquent speaker. I mean, and you think of how well he played in his great swing, and you think of President Eisenhower and Clifford Roberts and things that have transpired there, the great champions have it there. It's a great moment in your career.
Well, the moments you've had there, I want to ask you, look, they were all different. I mean, distinctly different. 61, 74, and 78. 78, a lot of people think may be among the 5 best rounds ever in major championship golf. You were 7 back to start the day. 1961, you played 11 holes, and then they canceled the round. You had to come back on a Monday and finish, and you wound up winning by a shot over Charlie Coe, who was an amateur, and of course Arnold Palmer. What moment stands out above any others for you?
I'm continuously asked this question, and just to play at Augusta, just to drive through Magnolia Drive, just to be part of the history that has taken place there is so important. And to favor one victory over the other, wow, I don't know how you do that. To get your leg in, I had the Open Championship in as a leg, and now I wanted to win the Grand Slam, and then you get Augusta in. That's so significant. And then the last one in 78, to be 7 shots behind Tom Watson and Co., and go out there and come back in 30, and there were 4 of us tied, if I remember correctly, with 3 holes to go. Tom Watson, Hubert Green, I think it was Rod Funseth, if I'm not mistaken, and I birdied the last hole.
That's correct.
Yeah, and nobody did ever hold a putt from above the hole to win Augusta at that stage. Since then, Mickelson, Sandy Lyle, and Tiger Woods have done it, and maybe somebody else. But all significant, and it's something you cherish for the rest of your life.
No, you're absolutely right. I do want to ask you, because we've re-aired a lot of the Masters, past Masters this week, and one thing that stood out to me was in 1986 they had you in Butler Cabin, and Jack Nicklaus was making his way up the leaderboard, and you were talking glowingly, as you should have been, about Seve Ballesteros, but Brent Musburger asked you about the importance of the advancement of the international player, and the reason I bring that up is because you're the only international player who won the career Grand Slam. Your imprint and what you did by winning the Masters fostered and inspired a generation to play the game around the world. And a fellow countryman and somebody who you have shepherded in the game, Trevor Immelman, is now the International President's Cup captain. Just a thought from you about that. He's a young man to be in that position, to captain that team on the heels of what Ernie did at Royal Melbourne. How proud you must be of Trevor.
Extremely so. Trevor's such a wonderful young man. He's got consideration for his fellow man, and we must never forget that. Not to be enamored with ourselves in life, but to remember your fellow man. And Trevor, I think they've made a wonderful selection. He's not that young. It's not as though he hasn't had experience. He's had a lot of worldly experience. has won Augusta, which is such a great honor, and has mixed with many people, and speaks very well. As you see him on television, he speaks very, very well. He's eloquent. I think they've made a wonderful choice. And maybe that's what we need, because I wasn't able to get a victory in the President's Cup on 3 occasions. Peter Thompson did win in Melbourne. Maybe we need somebody who's much younger than ourselves, and I don't know, might win it. And I sincerely hope so, for the sake of the tournament. It's always been very close. The media have never given it quite the credit that it deserves. I mean, we were so close, went down to the last hole on many occasions, and that's as close as it can be with a widely contested team event.
Well, I hope that we will find you and Jack Nicklaus on the first tee at Augusta National the second week in November, because if that's the case, then things are okay at the bare minimum. It's always a pleasure for me to have the chance to talk to you. I wish you nothing but good health and all the safety for you and your family. Thank you as always.
Thank you, Gary, and God bless America. And I say that, God bless America.
That is Gary Player, and stay tuned to Golf Channel and Morning Drive. Follow us on all of our social media handles, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube as well. We're with you every day, 7 days a week, as well as Golf Central. For now, be safe, stay well.